Okay, so this is foundation paper question number 9. And for this question, you're asked, or you're told rather, you've been given 3 jars containing barium iodide, potassium chloride, and calcium bromide. Unfortunately, the labels have been removed from the jars, and because they're all white compounds, they cannot be identified by their appearance. Describe 2 tests that you should carry out on all 3 of the compounds so that each compound can be identified. State how you would carry out both tests and give the expected observations for each compound. Okay, so we've got 3 halides here. So that tells us that we could use the silver nitrate test, which gives us a yellow precipitate, a white precipitate, and a cream precipitate. And then to differentiate the metals, we could use flame tests. Okay, so if we know the colours of the flame test, that will allow us to identify the elements completely. So if we have a look at the original mark scheme, it gives us some very detailed sort of information. So the barium iodide gives an apple green flame test due to the barium, potassium gives a lilac flame, and the calcium gives a brick red flame. And then using the silver nitrate test, as we've already mentioned, the iodide gives a yellow precipitate, the chloride gives a white precipitate, and the bromide gives a cream precipitate. So if you mention how to do the test, so they use a damp splint or a wire, okay, into a roaring flame with a small amount of the compound on the damp wire, the wire or the damp splint, then these are the colours. And for the silver nitrate test, you dissolve some of the compound in a small amount of water and add silver nitrate solution. And then in order to access the marks, because this is a QER question, okay, so looking at your ability to write well and to communicate well, to get the top marks, you need to be able to give both tests a basic description, the correct observations, and they must be linked to the right compounds. Okay. For the middle band of marks, okay, there needs to be a complete account of one test with correct observations for all ions, and a partial or both with some correct observations linked to correct compounds. And then the lower band basically is a poorer version of the other 2. Okay, so as long as you mention everything in terms of how to do the test, what the expected results are, then you're looking at the top end there, as long as your account is coherent and well written. Okay.